I've been documenting wild places for decades. I'm always struck by the concentration of diversity in this beautiful, pristine bay. I'm Art Wolfe. Join me on this journey to the edge. I've been coming to Glacier Bay for a long time, and every time I come back here, I discover something new. The Ice Age really had a profound effect on this region of Southeast Alaska. All the great islands run north and south. All the channels largely are running north and south. Glacier Bay, only 200 years ago, had 4,000 feet of ice, and today there's just remnant glaciers. I'm being joined by Greg Green, a wildlife biologist who has extensive knowledge in the marine ecosystems of Southeast Alaska. What I love is just the richness of this environment that we're traveling through. Not only do you have the spectacular glaciated mountains, the really intact forests, but you got all the animals that thrive in these wild waters. All up and down the West Coast, and especially true in Southeast Alaska, cultures use totem poles to really symbolize the animals that they revered and respected, the eagles, the orcas, and the raven. Right now we've got two whales and they're still up, and in a second or two it's going to be a nice shot because the spray will come straight up, and any second now they're going to do it, and when they do it I'm going to get the shot. 1, 2, there we go, beautiful, and the second one will come up, there we go. Wow, there's really a lot of activity here. We're in the midst of a huge group of humpback whales. That's so beautiful right now with the calm water, the even light, the way these spouts just really hang in the air. It almost looks like a watercolor painting. And the sound of it is so beautiful. Very nice. That's spectacular. Just to have that dark green body of water, the way the spray is really distinguished from the dark background, and then that graceful way these huge animals just enter the water. When do they start heading south, and where are they going?
These whales winter in Hawaii, and they don't feed there. That's where they go to breed. That's where they go to have calves. And then they come back here to feed, to forage in this rich waters.
What's the status of the humpback whale? Are they endangered?
Well, they're still classified as an endangered animal and under the Endangered Species Act, but the populations here are definitely increasing. Humpback whales are coming back in the North Pacific.
It's an animal that you only get glimpses of part of their body until they actually breach. They usually breach when they come back to the surface. And usually when they get into the rhythm, they come to the surface 3 or 4 times, but that first time they come back up after sounding or diving, they come up with such force that they can launch their bodies right out of the water. These whales should be coming up any second. I got it, I got it. That is amazing. That was fantastic. Just a sequence of 2 or 3 shots, and there's more coming up right now. This is a great place. There's so much action right here. The water is very turbulent and it mixes up the fish, the herring, the krill. Consequently, we got cormorants, gulls, eagles, sea lions, all vying for the same food. Really great for the heart and for the mind to see an environment that is largely intact. The forests are all the way from the top of the ridges all the way to the water line. No clear cuts, no roads, no buildings along the shore. This is a beautiful forest with the Sitka spruce and hemlock. How old would you think these trees are?
Well, we know. This is forest began about 200 years ago when Captain Vancouver was here and the glacier just receded past.
Wow, that's amazing. In 200 years, this whole forest was established. How is this forest actually being affected by global warming?
Well, one of the things that we are seeing is the decline of Alaskan yellow cedar, and that seems to be as a result of decline in snowfall levels.
So what's taking the place of yellow cedar?
Well, at this stage, nothing. We're waiting to see how global change and climates are going to affect all of Southeast Alaska.
Nothing stays the same.
Nothing at all.
I love working in the rainforest, and if it's raining, I just adjust to it. And the subjects here are many and varied. There's some beautiful lines, abstract details. This becomes now my subject. Right now I'm zeroing in on just a few raindrops in the circular patterns that are really spiraling out. It becomes a really nice pattern, really nice study of light and dark. I've got a really nice shot here of fungus and dripping moss, and it's a great change from shooting the grand landscapes of glaciers and mountains to come into this forest. It's a calming effect on the mind. It's such a soft environment, such a quiet environment, and now I'm shooting a very quiet, soft subject. This is Dundas Bay. It's part of the national park, and it's a great habitat for black bears that come out of the forest in hibernation in the spring. They eat this very succulent grass. This is the sign of a bear. Okay. The tops of this grass is all cut off from where it's eaten, and it's really pressed the grass as he's walked up this creek. And the fact that the grass is still pretty much bent means he's come through in the last day, maybe in the last couple hours. This is a pretty fresh bear track here. He drew a line from one toe across here. If the toe is below this line, it's a black bear. If it's above, it's a grizzly. And just the sheer size of this, if this was a grizzly bear track, it'd be a pretty young bear. But this is a medium-sized black bear. There's a bear not too far away from here. It's taken one look at us, and it's cut across what I think is these alders, and it might come right out over here. So if I can anticipate the direction it's moving, we might be able to get a good shot. So let's walk over here. It's just cut through these bushes. There it is, right there. Stop. It doesn't really have great eyesight, but it sees us and is wondering what we are. These bears now are sharing their environment with the brown bear or the grizzly. So they're much more apprehensive about other shapes walking around. We're gonna move. I think he might come out one last time at the, right where this little creek comes out of the forest. It might be a good shot. This is a nice situation because this bear is nice and relaxed. We're getting our shots, we've moved slow, and every time it stopped, we stopped. And consequently, we've been able to get up close without really pressuring the bear. So now the bear's relaxed, eating grass. I'm getting my shots. One of the iconic animals here in Southeast Alaska are the orcas. They're very hard to predict, and often you never see them. What we try to do with these orcas is discern the direction they're heading, then go way ahead, and then the choice is for the orca to either come towards us or give us a wide berth. And often they come right next to us as long as we're not chasing them. With the orcas, unlike the humpbacks, they get into a rhythm and they stay on the surface. They're a much smaller animal and they're not as capable as the humpback to stay underneath the surface. So we have a higher likelihood of predicting the distance and the direction that these orcas are going. They're only above the surface for a split second, and I don't want to miss that. And I didn't. As we entered Glacier Bay, it's really interesting to see how the glaciers have carved and shaped the land. Not only the fjords, but many of the islands are resistant columns of rock that really rise out of the ocean bottom. There's just so much wildlife in this really rich environment. And right now there's an eagle flying, beautiful, being trailed by gulls. Going on right now. Here's a whole colony of kittiwakes flying in front of the cliffs. I saw a peregrine falcon earlier, and we've got a mountain goat with a very young kid and a sub adult, all right on the same cliff right in front of us. I think what happens is that these cliffs really absorb a lot of the heat from the sun, and consequently the snow melts off really soon in the season and exposes the sedges and the lichens that they really love to eat. Very chilled out. That's what's nice about photographing these mountain goats, is very relaxed, really a nice looking animal looking straight at us right now. You can see how that powerful hump on the back is really the center for the muscles that enable it to go straight up and down. This is a nice opportunity with a mother and two cubs. The babies are so cute. And the very fact that we're drifting up so slowly, the mother's curious. She's watching us. She's eating barnacles right off the rock. Bears are such omnivores. They'll eat the barnacles, they'll eat grass, they'll eat salmon, berries. It's great to hear the baby cry. Almost like a human baby right now. They are so young. They haven't been out of the den very long. She's a great looking mother. Oh, nice moment. The babies are just touching nose with mother. Oh, that's as good as it gets right there. We're easing up onto this colony of northern sea lions on the north side of this island. These sea lions have found just the perfect slope of rock where they can easily carry themselves up out of the water and relax and rest. This is known as a rookery. I'm going to try to get an establishing shot of the colony, and then I'll be looking slowly across the colony for individuals that might be interacting, a male and a female, or even two males that be fighting over a female. Each male basically can stand each other when they're 15 or 20, 30 feet apart. They get too close to each other, they start to still each other's females, and they start fighting. This is the perfect light conditions for photographing these guys. If it was even brighter or overcast, their big bulky bodies would cast shadows over other animals. But with this even light, it really allows us to make sense of the entire colony of northern sea lions. As we head further up the bay towards the glaciers, the terrain gets rockier and the water becomes much colder. The glaciers that feed fresh water into Glacier Bay are retreating at an amazing rate. It's a natural process, but it's being accelerated by global warming. I love this environment. It's just like kayaking through a huge watercolor painting to me. It's hard to fathom that this entire fjord was carved out by huge glaciers, much, much larger than these tiny little guys now, these tidewater glaciers. 200 years ago, how deep do you think the ice was right where we are?
Probably somewhere between 4,000 and 6,000 feet thick.
Can you imagine in 200 years that 4,000 feet of ice has melted? That's extraordinary. You know, it's amazing that this landscape is in such rapid transition. This snow has been locked up in this ice for hundreds of years, and now it's about to calve into this fjord, melt, and once again join the water cycle. It's really interesting also to see how the oldest ice is the clearest ice, and it's on the bottom layer of a glacier. And it's really compressed hard and clear, almost like the way diamonds are formed. Look at that wall over here that looks just like a wall of jade. It's so beautiful. I'm so privileged to be able to come into an environment like this and see things that most people don't have an opportunity to see. Just this out-of-worldly location is extraordinary. The ice that's got locked up in this glacier may have fallen in the form of snow hundreds of years ago, and now at the terminus, it's calving off and ultimately melting out. And it's overwhelming when you think of the scale of the human in relationship to a wall of ice that may be 300 or 400 feet high. I love photographing this environment because it's so abstract with the colors, the lines, the textures of this great glacier. It's a frightening environment, it's a dynamic environment. Ultimately, it's a fascinating environment for the camera and for my imagination. The deep blues of the light passing through the ice crystals really translate well on film. I love shooting landscapes where the sense of scale is obscured. You really rely on the abstract. As my eye adjusts to this dynamic landscape, I find more and more shots to shoot. And right now, I'm concentrating on just the reflections of these very circular icebergs with their very subtle gradients of white all the way to deep blue. Right now, I'm making this tiny little iceberg really dominant in the frame, and then the reflections of the icebergs across the water really is a nice soft backdrop. So foreground, background, very surreal landscape. It's all coming together. And just verifying in the back of my camera, and I can see that I'm getting exactly what I want. The glaciers are still active today, and it's among the most exciting things that I've ever seen anywhere on Earth. To see a glacier calve into these deep blue waters is a really thrilling sight. It's like explosions going off in front of you. It's both frightening, but also extremely intriguing and exciting to see. So much of this area has been protected over the years with great legislation, setting aside Glacier Bay and all the regions around it for protection forever. And yet, the great unknown is what impact will global warming have on this very fragile ecosystem? With the warming of the Earth, what will happen to the populations of birds and sea creatures that live and abound in these waters? This is something we don't know. We'll have to wait and see. It's a place where granite peaks touch the clouds, where icebergs catch the light, and Andean condors rule the sky. Patagonia has it all. I've been documenting wild places for decades, and I'm still seduced by Patagonia's rugged beauty. I'm Art Wolfe. Join me on Travels to the Edge. Patagonia straddles Chile and Argentina and stretches nearly 2,400 kilometers from the Rio Colorado in the north to Tierra del Fuego in the south. Torres del Paine in the southern Andes includes some of the most diverse and spectacular parts of this rugged region. I've been coming down to Patagonia for the last 15 years, and one of the places I love to come to, of course, is Torres del Paine. And it's not just because of the spectacular landscapes, it's because there's so many animals to photograph here, one of which is the guanaco. These are great animals of the open plains. One of the reasons they thrive here is they can run away from their chief predator, the puma. This is great. This is a herd of mothers and babies. The babies, known as chulengos, are really probably born within the last month. They're great to photograph because they're so clean and fuzzy and pure looking. And then to have the interaction between the mothers and the babies, they're really chilled out right now, but I bet you when I get closer, they'll start to move around and interact, and that's exactly the kind of behavior I'm hoping for. I like to stay low and really slow. If they're sitting down and all of a sudden I'm silhouetted against a bright sky, it can intimidate them. The more relaxed they become and remain, the better shots I can get. As I approach them, I'm constantly watching their behavior. If they start to move too fast away from me, I'm going to stop, sit down, let them relax. But they're more interested in what's happening between the males chasing each other. The babies are staying close. I think it's a great situation to get some nice shots. The fact that it's overcast right now is perfect because with this many animals, bright sunshine creates a lot of harsh shadows on the animals. It's hard to get a great shot of multiple animals in bright sunshine. I'm choosing to use a fairly small telephoto lens because I'll be able to zoom back and take in more of the animals. If it was just one animal, I probably would shoot a more powerful lens like a 400. But with a group, I always tend to use the wider angles, incorporate more of the animals in the environment. In the distance on the ridge, you can see a guanaco silhouetted. He's watching out for pumas. These are herd animals, and when they sit, they face all different directions, just keeping an eye out for the odd puma that might happen by. That is a male calling. He's moving the women and the babies around right now. This whole valley is a series of small lakes surrounded by very luxuriant green grass, and that is why these guanacos are here. It's great for the babies. It's protected out of the harsh winds up on the higher hills. This is a natural nursery for these guanacos. Speaking of which, right now I've got two babies just staring right at me. In fact, they're so close. I need to make a vertical shot of this. This is a great shot. They're just staring at me, all lined up perfectly. They're very curious at this age. That's it, guys. They're looking straight at me. This is fantastic action as these babies just keep running back and forth in front of me. Fantastic.
I think it's important when people travel all the way to Patagonia and ultimately towards Del Paine to actually see the peaks the park is named after. These are very impressive 10,000-foot spires of granite. And on the other end, the Cuernos Towers is equally dramatic.
Well, I was just driving up the road. I spotted one of my favorite little animals of this park, a Patagonian fox. So I'm going to go down into this little low area and see if I can't find it. This is a really nice situation with this very, very tame fox. And with the beautiful backdrop of the Andes, I'm shooting a wide angle. It's very rare that you'd be able to get a fox this close. I'm going to try to reposition myself and keep the fox between the mountains and me and also the light. So if I can squeeze around, and I've got his full attention at this point. Beautiful. Now I'm getting in a position where I've got the spectacular mountains behind. Really nice sequence as he walked right in front of the mountains. They're beautiful little foxes. They're known as gray foxes, or in this part of the world, in Patagonia, the Patagonian fox. In very cold environments, very windy environments, animals tend to have smaller appendages, you know, shorter ears, shorter legs, just to retain the heat. He's never been hunted, nor has its ancestors ever been hunted in this great biosphere reserve. Whenever I'm around an animal this close or this tame, I'm keeping my voice moving, often talking to him in very low, reassuring terms. And there's something about breaking that silence that also breaks the tension between the animal and the human. They're really, really quite innocent in their behavior around humans. And for me, it's a great thing because I'm shooting with extreme wide angle with these rugged Cuernos towers as a backdrop. It gives this fox a great sense of place. Oh, this is really nice. What's your name? Huh? A much larger herd. I hope they're not after me. Guanacos are strange animals, but about 15 feet, 20 feet in front of me, there's a herd of about 50 or 60. And this is much denser than the herd that we just were photographing over at the nursery. They're much tighter packed, and they seem so chilled out. I think I can get a lot closer. I'm gonna use one last trick because the sky is so dramatic. I want to really darken it so that the animals themselves really stand out. So I'm gonna just use this graduated neutral density filter that I used quite often and just frame this thing. But first I have to take the lens cap off. This is such a great opportunity to get this close to these wild animals. Patagonia really delivers when it comes to that. Foxes that walk right up to you, guanacos that are just chilled out, and it enables me to use these wider angles to take the really dramatic landscapes, which is so indicative of Patagonia. So big skies, big mountains, and wonderful wildlife. I'm walking through an ancient beech forest ravaged by the constant winds that blow down Lago Gray or Lake Gray. And what also blows down this lake are enormous icebergs that have been calved by the Gray Glacier 7 miles up the lake. And it's those icebergs that I'm on my way to photograph. Seven-tenths of an iceberg lies below the surface. We're talking about an enormous mass of ice. What's fun for me when I'm photographing icebergs is the fact that they're constantly rotating and changing shape, always giving me multiple opportunities with the same piece of ice. love to photograph about icebergs is the way the light fractures, and although they're not truly blue, they appear really blue. And in this case, some of these bigger ones are amazingly blue. Fantastic. I love this stuff. There's over 300 different species of birds that live in Patagonia, and this is one of the more famous ones, the caracara. It's a bird of prey, very, very tame, and it looks pretty impressive when you see it by itself, but when you see it in comparison to a condor, it's tiny. It's an amazing bird, however. They're full of energy and spunk, and they can walk right up to foxes. They're very unintimidated.
Come down to the edge of this lake to photograph a beautiful view of the Cuernos Towers in early morning light, and yet it just isn't happening. There's just no light on these mountains, unfortunately. But what is happening is an amazing, spectacular cloud has formed right over the top of these mountains, and that is now going to be my main focus. And I guess the point I'm trying to make here is I'm always trying to look for something that may be a secondary subject that becomes my most important shot out of the day.
Wow, that looks like a pretty spectacular waterfall. A lot of layers. That's exactly what I like to see in a waterfall, is layers of rock and water going over, and with long exposures, this should be a very, very nice shot. Patagonia is about big. Big mountains, big open landscapes, big glaciers, big rivers, and what those rivers have are big waterfalls. So I can't wait to experience this one. There's different ways one can photograph waterfalls. Most people just tend to shoot a postcard. What I try to do is go in and shoot the details. In this case, there's a series of waterfalls over some steps that I've zoomed in across the river. I put a polarizer on, which takes a little bit of the shine off the water, but more importantly, gives me the ability to take a longer exposure, creating more of a ribbony effect with the water, which creates an artistic slant on this waterfall.
One of the challenges in this windswept environment is to find the serene moments.
After spending several days in Torres del Paine, it becomes painfully obvious that the only time when the wind isn't blowing is early in the morning. And why that's important is if I ever want to get reflections or get a different type of shot other than just the tight shots of the mountains, this is the time, the margin of the day when I'm going to work. I found this tiny little pond next to a road, and I'm going to have to get very low
to try to incorporate the reflection of these towers of pine. And with a tripod like this, I have the ability to move the legs independently and literally get it right down in the mud, which enables me to get the angle of the reflection that I'm going to need. And suddenly, what looked like nothing from a position 6 feet above right down into the water looks like a very, very nice scene. And the last thing I'm going to need to do is use a neutral density filter where I'm going to bring it right over the top portion of the frame, because invariably reflections are 2 stops darker than the sky above, and this will bring the entire image into proper alignment. And it looks perfect. I have found a mother and father kelp goose with 8 little goslings. The male is all white on the top and female is gray but beautiful yellow legs. There's 8 little goslings that have probably hatched out within the last week. It is a matter of getting in, getting close, letting them relax to your presence. And some of my best shots have been where the mother's standing and all the little 8 goslings are standing right below it.
My last stop in Patagonia is high in the Andes, in the realm of one of the world's most majestic birds.
The most effective way to photograph condors is to take the camera off the tripod so you can pan with them, because when they literally come so close, they're moving very, very fast. And it would be very hard pressed. This is a beautiful male coming at me right now. Wow. Fantastic. These are huge birds. These are among the largest flying birds on Earth. They can fly as far as 50 to 150 miles in a single day and come back to the same roost at night. They just unfold their huge wings and off they go, up and higher and higher. I just love the way they come in with their 10-foot wingspans, 10 feet. That's incredible. When the thermals start rising along the cliffs, they just unfold their wings and up they go. Effortlessly, they can be 1,000 feet above you or 10,000 feet above you. These big males are the ones with the white collars, and they have kind of a interesting head shape. They also have white patches on the back of their wings, so I can always identify them coming in. What's amazing also about these birds is that their entire system of raising chicks is such that they breed only every other year and raise a chick every other year, because it takes so long to raise a bird of this size. These birds in the wild will live up to 50 years. They'll mate for life. And I love it when they come down right below me, so I can look straight down on them. What's amazing about these birds is that they're looking for other animals reacting to what's happening on the ground. In other words, if there's a dead animal, other animals will react to it. They're looking for carrion. They're looking for a dead guanaco, a dead sheep. They're not choosy as long as it's dead. Shooting with digital allows me to keep clicking. In the past, the minute I had something great, I'd have to be changing rolls of film. These
birds are really built for these high Andes, and they just are amazing when you watch them soar right above you. Ah, nice, 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 nice.
The peaks of wild Patagonia guard the fragile beauty of this isolated part of the planet. From its unique wildlife to its dramatic landscapes, Torres del Paine perches on the edge of the earth. I'm Art Wolfe. Join me on Travels to the Edge.
I've been traveling to wild places for decades. There's no better place on Earth to view these massive bears than Katmai National Park. I'm Art Wolfe. Join me on this Travels to the Edge.
The Katmai coast is the largest intact, uninhabited coastline left in North America. Once you get up in the air and you start to fly along this coast, you really see the extent and the variety of the land formations. This is a great place to come, whether you're a photographer or a naturalist or somebody that just wants to see nature raw and pristine.
Hi.
Nice to meet you. All right.
Finally, at last, we're here. Where are we right now?
We're anchored up right here.
I'm joining bear expert Derek Stoneroff and naturalist Brad Joseph to explore this wild coast.
One thing, Art, that they try to do in Alaska is identify habitats that are critical, and these sedge flats are really, really critical habitats for the survival of brown bears.
When people think of bears and they see this really wild peninsula, they really think it's the mountains and the forests. That's the reason the bears are here, but it's really about what the ocean brings to them. I can't wait to get out there and see these bears.
All up and down the Katmai coast, there's these tidal flats with sedge grasses growing. It's a big drawing part for the bears, and if these meadows were not here, the bears wouldn't be down here at this time of year. They're the first areas to green up.
So these bears will spend how much of the day just eating food?
Differing in amounts, but you can expect to see some bears down here all the time. They might eat 16, 18 hours a day. A lot of these guys might double their body weight. These sedge meadows are real important for bears for social behavior and meeting each other.
He seems awfully interested in her.
Yeah, it's mating season. He's definitely following her around, and she's definitely tolerating him at a much closer range. That's one way to tell if you see a mating pair.
I'm walking gently, I'm in the round. The sun is up in the sky. I'm ready for romance. My heart is full of joy. I'm strolling away, far from the bus. Don't have no hesitation. I'm gonna rejoin my love and start a cozy home.
From where I'm standing, I can count 8 bears. And they're constantly popping up and disappearing as they go up and over these little rises. And it makes it exciting because you never know where one's coming up.
Bears aren't grazing animals. They have a very difficult time digesting grass. These are very specific kinds of sedges, and it's only in these little pockets right here in the intertidal areas that these sedges grow. The other thing that happens when these really high tides come in fact, it's the second highest tide in the world here, it floods these meadows with salt water, brings in a lot of seaweed and algae and things.
In a month, this river could be filled with salmon.
Absolutely. It's perfect timing for the bears because just as soon as these sedges go to seed, the salmon show up. It's absolutely designed to be the perfect habitat. There's always food supply for these bears.
These bears don't have to go too far afield. They get their salmon, they get their vegetables, their salads, and it's a huge buffet for these bears. Right behind us is another bear. We got three right in front of us, and I'm not too concerned about the one behind us, are you?
Oh, I'm keeping an eye on them. I mean, they're doing their thing. We're sitting here doing ours. It's okay. We're not the focus of their attention.
From this distance, it's pretty obvious for me to tell female now that I've been around these bears for a couple of days, but from a distance, what are the main things that you look for?
Females tend to be blonder, but there's a lot of exceptions with color. But it's mostly body proportions and how they're built. They're built fairly differently. The males have a longer neck, longer legs, longer body, and although their head is much larger, from a distance it looks a lot smaller in proportion to the rest of the body. The biggest females might get to 800-900 pounds. The largest males could get to, 1,600.
It's amazing how close they're coming to us, and the fact that we're sitting low and talking quietly, they just seem not afraid.
Yeah, this is really the right way to handle being close around these bears. We're in a submissive position. We're sort of neutral. We're non-threatening.
Grizzly bears and brown bears are one and the same bear.
Yes, they're definitely the same species.
These are the same bears that everybody fears in the Rockies, the great predator, the dangerous animal, and look, it's just like a cow in a field right in front of us.
These bears haven't been hunted since 1920. The instinctual fear of people has been washed away in generations of sort of a peaceful coexistence. If we treat them with respect, they treat us with respect.
This trail looks almost like a bear freeway to me.
Generations and generations of bear traffic, just over and over, have just worn these grooves. These trails are like super highways that just interconnect all of the drainages and the food sources the bears use. It's just a very complex network of trails all up and down the Katmai coast.
So obvious how they keep their feet into each track on left foot and right foot, and I have no idea what the significance of that is, and you probably don't either.
No, it's one of the mysteries of bears.
Well, let's follow this trail and see where it leads us.
We're right in the heart of the largest population of protected bears in the world. 4,000 to 5,000 in this area.
4,000 to 5,000 brown bears.
Yes,
wow.
They're all within the national park, all protected.
It's absolutely miserable out right now. It's cold, it's windy, it's rainy, it's bear weather. There's a mother with a cub,
and they're just wandering around, and we've done a couple things to help us get shots, one of which is we're facing away from the wind and the rain. The other thing is we've gotten low, and if we're really quiet and we move slow, they're likely to come very close to us. We're not approaching them, we're going to allow them to approach us. She may go right back up on that ridge. This is good. This is going to be great. This cub and this mother are on this high ridge overlooking this plain with at least 13 adult bears. So she's a little reticent to getting down low. She wants to know where all bears are because occasionally boars will take a cub. And so she's very cautious. She's looking around, and as she puts her head up, getting a really nice shot. This is a long ways I'm shooting, probably at least a half a mile away. 1,000 millimeter in overcast conditions, very slow shutter speed. But a great shot.
That's an awesome shot. It just really shows the power of the bear and just the whole body.
So I've photographed bears for 20 years. I've never gotten a shot where the bear is standing straight up like a human, staring straight at me. And it really looks threatening, but in reality, it's just standing up to get a better look.
As soon as low tide rolls around, the bears appear out of nowhere. The bears know when low tide is. I don't know if it's by smell or just internal timing, but they're very in tune with the tides and the timing of the tides.
Hallow is famous for its clam-eating bears. Off to your right, there's a bear over there, and you can see behind her, she started to dig. There's piles where she's dug a hole and then moved on to the next one. I think each hole's probably a clam.
What I really like about this shot is the simpleness of the landscape. You can see all the claws, the feet, there's just nothing impeding our view of this beautiful bear, and it's extraordinarily beautiful with the long golden fur just blowing in the breeze. I love the background, the light, and the thing that I like the most is the fact that it's totally unaffected by our presence. It's a very candid way of photographing a wild animal in a beautiful, simple landscape.
Brown bear is superbly equipped. It's a digging bear. Of all the 7 species of bears, these are the diggers. He's got this great big hump, which is really a big hunk of muscle, and they've got extra long claws. If you compare a bear claw to a polar bear claw or a black bear claw, they're shaped differently, but they're meant for digging.
Whenever I'm photographing a new environment, I love not only to shoot the grand landscape, but also the intimate details. I've found a really nice shot of washed up kelp and seaweed. I've made it important by zooming in with a macro lens. I love doing that. I love revealing things that people often pass by. The diversity along this Katmai coast is incredible. Every time we turn around, there's a new species. Right now, I've got tufted puffins on a beautiful lichen-covered rock. These are beautiful little birds. They're almost comical. They look like clowns. I'm using a 1,000mm lens with a 1.4, which is the equivalent now of a 1,400mm lens to bring them in and to get a satisfying view. Behind me, there's a bald eagle nest literally in the grass. And I've situated this camera slightly above so I can take in the dark background of the distant mountains. What I'm waiting for and what I'm hoping for is a bald eagle literally landing at the nest with its wings spread out. With follow focus, I can just stay on this bird. Waiting for an hour, and I can see it just coming. It's about a couple hundred yards off, but as soon as it gets close. That's nice, with her laying on her back legs. She's going down, she's going down. That is funny. Beautiful female. Looking up at us, gonna sit down, gonna sit. I love it. Now it's gonna fall, 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 fall. Ah, nice behavior. Look at how it's just playing with its paw. It is so roly-poly. It looks and exhibits behavior like a panda. I love this. Look at that. Scratching. It's hard to stay up. Whenever I'm shooting a bear or any animal that is exhibiting some comical behavior like this bear right now, it really affects the emotions of the people that ultimately look at the photos. Often one single salient photo that really connects with people is a very effective way of winning their support. That's a really big boar over here. His name is Snaggletooth.
You can see that canine that sticks out. His jaw was broken in a fight, probably a little female during the mating season. Oh wow, he's got blood on his shoulders. He must have gotten in a mating fight.
He was running around, and there was two males over there, and they may have gotten a fight.
Yeah, he got bit.
powerful stuff to watch.
Yeah, they can be pretty brutal sometimes. It's that basic evolutionary force to mate. It's very strong in these bears, and the difference between mating and not is a very powerful force for these guys, absolutely.
And it was amazing to watch the female. She's just sitting back watching these two guys fight over her.
She wants to see who her new boyfriend's going to be.
God, that was frightening. I'm still just shaking from that.
Yeah.
That was a good moment. When I'm photographing a mother and a cub like this, it's usually when they come together, there's some sort of quick interaction. Momentarily, they come together, they touch noses, or the baby sometimes cuddles up against the mother's chest. Those are the moments I try to click. And it's often just anticipating when they're coming together, being ready for it, like now. Oh, that's nice. The baby is just relaxing and rolling, just doing what little babies do. Ah, that is so cute.
Play is so important for bears, and they play throughout their lives. Mothers play with their cubs, and young bears play with other bears. Even sometimes big males play with other big males. It's a rich part of the bear's life. They're an incredible, incredible creature, and they're capable of extraordinary behavior.
It's so nice to see these animals just playing, just sheer enjoyment of playing and interacting. And they obviously are the same age. They're two females that just are having a great time. Just great to watch this. They look like sumo wrestlers in fur coats, just full of energy, full winter coats. They couldn't look any better than this. Oh, nice move, great behavior, wow. That's a takedown and a pin. That's 4 points right there. To have a trust, a bond of trust between a wild animal and a human being in their environment, it just makes you feel good. You feel like you're connected to the whole ecosystem here.
Coming out here with these bears, sitting here, making eye contact with them unarmed on their terms. I've been all over the world looking at wildlife and different things, and I really think it's the greatest wildlife experience on Earth. It's one of the world's greatest jewels.
You live and you work in a great environment, don't you?
Yeah, it's in my blood.
This is a special, special place. It's an honor and a privilege to have spent time with these wild bears at Katmai. I'm convinced the more we know about these amazing creatures, the better we can coexist with them. I'm Art Wolfe. Join me next time on Travels to the Edge. Millions of years ago, this island, Madagascar, split off from Africa. Since then, the animals and plants have taken off on a bizarre and incredible evolutionary journey. I'm Art Wolfe, exploring wild Madagascar. Join me on Travels to the Edge. Madagascar lies off the southeast coast of Africa, the fourth largest oceanic island on Earth. Its size and geographic isolation have given rise to an abundance of biodiversity and unique landscapes. It's home to 5% of all the world's plants and animals, over 200,000 species. And 80% of those species are unique to Madagascar. But while Madagascar is one of the world's largest islands, it is densely populated by its Malagasy people. Most of them are farmers, and as a result, 90% of the island's original habitat has been lost to agriculture. The places that remain intact in Madagascar are really there simply because they're so difficult to get to. The terrain and distances are great, and that is quite honestly why they still exist. I'm in the Tsingy-Bamara National Park, which is the largest preserve here in Madagascar. The Tsingy looks like this jagged matrix of pinnacles and mountains that are rising into the sky. I'm very excited to start to get in and explore the various caverns and ridges and valleys in between these very jagged karst limestone formations. The Tsingy is a national park here in Madagascar, and so when you enter this landscape, you're required to have a guide. This is an amazing labyrinth of deep passageways and narrow canyons. And all along the way, there's roots that reach down from trees 200 feet above that get all the way down here into the deepest recesses where the water collects. The environment of the Tsingy is a real challenge, not only to move through and negotiate these jagged, razor-sharp pinnacles or rocks, but just to get a photograph is a real challenge. Get tired because you're either moving up or moving down, but rarely are you moving parallel. Whew. This is steep. Okay, crossing a 200-foot chasm above rock, razor rock. Oh yeah. What I try to do in a landscape like this is to emphasize what's most important about it, and to me, it's the texture of the rocks. This is truly a unique landscape here in Madagascar, and yet Madagascar itself is a vast island of unique phenomenon. We're about to see and explore the rest of this great island. Heading to a remote reserve, one of the few remaining patches of original rainforest on this environmentally challenged island. Because of Madagascar's biological richness, it's the top priority for many of the world's conservation groups. Accompanying me on this journey through Madagascar is Russ Middemeyer, noted conservationist and an expert in primatology. Russ, you got projects all around the world. What's so great about Madagascar?
Well, Madagascar, from a biodiversity perspective, is really a country of superlatives. We who work in the so-called biodiversity hotspots consider Madagascar to be the single highest priority hotspot on the planet. It's just an amazing place. I mean, it's been separated from the African mainland for probably about 160 million years, and separated from India, to which it was also connected, for about 80 or 90 million years. So for that whole period, evolution has proceeded on its own in isolation from the rest of the world. So you've got a variety of animals here that are unique, and the levels of endemism, species that occur nowhere else, are unmatched on the planet. I mean, what attracted me here to begin with was the lemurs, these non-human primates that are 100% endemic to Madagascar.
When I was here before, they were so gentle. They're almost like a polite monkey in a way.
They're very much like a polite monkey. They're not terribly aggressive. You can get quite close to them.
When you're walking through a forest like this, looking for lemurs, do you hear them first or see movement or what's?
I would say about 70, 80% of the time you hear them.
Are they mad at me?
No, they're just trying to let one another know where they are. This
They're
is the
so loud.
black and white ruffed lemur call, which is one of the great sounds of the Malagasy forest.
I've got two ruffed lemurs curled up on this branch high up in the forest canopy. They've got the same markings, the color patterns of a giant panda, but infinitely smaller and more slender. So how would you term this kind of forest right here?
Well, this is a higher altitude rainforest, a high plateau forest. We're at about 1,200 to 1,400 meters here, and this is the last big chunk of high altitude rainforest.
It's beautiful with all the lichen.
It really is pretty. It really is pretty, and this is very, very unique as a habitat.
I'm photographing one of the most unique animals in all of Madagascar. It's called the leaf-tailed gecko, and they rely almost entirely on their ability to blend in on the trunks of these rainforest trees. So there's patches of lichens, and if their arm or their torso covers that lichen, they'll pick up the line of the lichen to continue their perfect camouflage. They seem to dissolve into this beautiful environment. Right now I'm photographing the largest of the lemurs, the Indri, and he's just in the open. And I think I'm getting some pretty nice shots.
It's a very special opportunity to be able to see these Indris because, in fact, they cannot be kept in captivity. They've never been successfully kept in captivity. So if you want to see them, you got to come to Madagascar.
So I got a beautiful call.
The call is just fantastic. And you have about 60, more than 60 groups. So this is a territorial call. And what they're doing is they're saying, hey, we're here, don't invade our space, otherwise we'll have a fight. So it's a way of spacing the different groups. The Indri is the biggest of the living lemurs. It gets up to about 9 kilos, a little over 20 pounds, and about a meter, maybe 3 feet tall. Fantastic animal.
They have really funny ears, don't they?
Yeah, and funny eyes. They look like they just came off a spaceship.
I love photographing any animal that's got such strong colors and patterns. I love the lines and then the spots and more lines. And towards its head, it actually starts to turn green and red.
Yeah, this is one of my favorites, if not my favorite chameleon, this little high-altitude Furcifer campani chameleon. And to me, it looks like an Aboriginal dot painting. I think it's just fabulous. As amazing as it is, it's just one example of the spectacular diversity of chameleons that you have here in Madagascar. More than 60 species, more species of chameleons than in any other country. So it's again, one of these wonderful flagship groups like the lemurs that really make Madagascar what it is.
I love photographing chameleons. They're so strange. They're the animal that seems to be made up of parts from all sorts of other animals. One of the most unique features of the chameleon is the fact that their eyes move independently from one another, and it gives them this really comical appearance. This is the Parsons chameleon, one of the two largest species of chameleons here in Madagascar. Large enough, in fact, to even eat birds. Incredible animal. And you can see how slow this animal moves. And it's a strategy not only enabling it to catch its prey, but to escape predation by birds of prey and other animals that might, in fact, zero in on these creatures. They're an extraordinary animal, a reptile with personality.
This is just the most beautiful of all the lemurs. This is the diademed sifak. It's the second biggest after the Indri, and it moves by vertical clinging and leaping, and it's capable of these incredible jumps. It can probably jump 30 feet at a shot.
It's really got a lot of colors to it.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
You know, Russ, this rainforest seems to go on forever, but how big is it actually?
It's really a tiny fragment. This particular reserve in the adjacent national park is only a little over 10,000 hectares. It's about 25,000 acres. And Madagascar has already lost 90% of its original natural vegetation, and only 3% of the country is conserved. So there's a huge challenge ahead to make sure that virtually all of the remaining intact forest is conserved because it has so much biodiversity packed into it.
We get a view of what deforestation looks like in Madagascar as we drive through a forest recently slashed and burned for farming. I love those serendipitous moments when you get unexpected photographic opportunities. This is amazing. This tamarind tree behind me is literally full of giant fruit bats with wingspans up to 3 feet. It's very cool. I've never photographed fruit bats like this before. I'm getting a really nice shot right now of a single bat hanging, and the sun is just catching his eyes in a very nice way. And it's beautiful. It looks happy, sitting there in the breeze and looking straight at me. Not a bad shot for an upside-down bat. The fruit bats are known also as flying foxes because they really do look like foxes with big wings. Right as the sun will set now, they all take to the air. And when they fly overhead, the sun backlights through their wings. Madagascar's diversity of landscapes becomes obvious as we enter the spiny forest. Well, this is kind of a pretty tough environment to have a village.
Well, this is a village of the Antandroy people. These are the people of the spiny desert, and they live in what are probably the harshest conditions of any human group in Madagascar. Very little water here, and obviously it's quite difficult to eke a living out of this desert. But they managed to do it.
Yeah, everybody's hanging out under these trees.
Yeah, trying to keep cool in the heat of the day.
Do you know how to say hello?
Salama tumku.
Salam tumku.
Salama tumku.
Salama tumku.
Navovo.
Salam tumku.
Sada tura na ito.
Forest is really relegated to the south and the west part of Madagascar, right?
Yeah, it's basically in the southern part of the country, and this region is really very, very special because of the plant species that are found here, 95% of the species and 45% of the plant genera are endemic, not just to Madagascar, but to this region alone.
Walking through the spiny forest is a real treat simply because virtually every plant and tree is unknown to me. They look like cactus, but they're not. They're very pointed and prickly, and yet there's this sublime beauty to the place. It's like a prehistoric garden. It's quite an experience to be in the spiny forest and suddenly stumble upon two troops of sifaka battling over territory.
Art, this is great because you're getting a fight between two groups. You just saw this one animal scent marking the tree, and now the other ones are scent marking over there. So they're just bouncing towards one. Look, they're right in the border between their territory. And oh, this is excellent. Didn't think we'd see this.
They move so fast.
Yeah.
This is a great place. I'm right on the demarcation line between two troops, and they use this tree right here to go back and forth.
Look at that. Look at the tail. Look at the way he whips the tail around.
Well, let's go and keep following these and see if there's a couple that are sitting in the late afternoon sun. Got a great shot right now, right at the end of the day. The sun has set. It's really in the shadows, and these sifakas who are running around all day long now it's like their toys have just run out of steam. And I suspect this tree is the one that they probably find every evening. They're settling in for the night, and they're just all warm and cuddly, and it's a great shot. Half the lemurs in Madagascar are nocturnal, so you gotta go out at night if you want to find them.
Just starting to come out. Well, it's a great time to be looking for the mouse lemurs and the sportive lemurs. They should be out. It's nice and warm.
We're looking for eyeshine, right?
We're looking for eyeshine, yeah. There's a reflective layer at the back of the eyes of lemurs, and it glows like coals, orange coals. Oh, there is one. I got one. Got one already. This is a mouse lemur. This is the rufous gray mouse lemur.
So cute. The eyes are so large for a mammal this size. It's one of the smallest primates on Earth. It looks like a mouse, but when you see its hands, it looks very much like a primate.
These are magnificent trees. These baobabs are up to 1,200 years old. From a distance, they look like cartoon caricatures of trees, but when you get up close to them, they overwhelm you with their sheer size. And they're literally water tanks. They retain water that enable them to survive through the long dry season. And they're great subjects to photograph. They're almost like upside-down trees with the trunks and the roots reaching into the air. People are drawn towards simple forms in nature, and they don't get much simpler than the baobab. They almost look like children's drawings. I'm just shooting a great shot that exemplifies the backcountry of Madagascar. It's a zebu cart with beautiful baobabs right behind it. Right on cue. They tower over the landscape. They dominate the landscape. And I love photographing them at sunset when the low angle of light really reveals the texture of the trunks, but also highlights each and every limb.
Even a brief visit to this spectacular place reveals its abundance of unique plants, animals, and landscapes. And realizing what we see today is only a fraction of what it once was is a reminder of how precious this island is.
Madagascar's plants and animals have taken their own unique twists and turns through time. Today, this strange and wonderful island is one of the most biologically significant and yet threatened places on Earth. I'm Art Wolfe. Join me next time on Travels to the Edge. It's high summer here in the Brooks Range in the heart of the Arctic Wildlife Refuge, and the landscape is teeming with life. I'll be rafting down the Kongakut River to the vast and beautiful coastal plain. I'm Art Wolfe. Join me on this episode of Travels to the Edge.
500 miles north of Anchorage, the mountains of the Brooks Range stretch west to Canada's Yukon Territory. The North Slope and its rivers drain onto the vast coastal plain and into the Arctic Ocean. The Arctic National Wildlife Refuge lies in the northeast corner of this region. Whenever I fly north to the refuge, I make a stop at a remote Gwich'in community on the southern edge of the Brooks Range. In Arctic Village, I had a great chance to talk to Sarah James, a Gwich'in Indian activist, about caribou, wilderness, and the importance of the Arctic plain.
How important are the caribou really to the Gwich'in?
Oh, we're caribou people. It's food on our table, and it's our tools, it's our clothing, and it's our story, it's our song, it's our dance. Solely depend on caribou and make us who we are. And when that gets disturbed, then we lose our way of life.
Why is it so important to keep the coastal plain intact?
Every year for thousands of years, the caribou go to that coastal plain because the food is there and it's a safe place for them. And it's just like a woman, you know, when we have our child, we want it quiet, clean, and private. And that's what it is for the caribou there. And we want to keep it that way. That's our responsibility.
I'm joining river guide Bob Dietrich and naturalist Nicole Whittington Evans on this Arctic journey. We're heading to the north slope of the Brooks Range to pick up the Congacut River. From there, we'll float through some of the most remote wilderness in North America. So where are our best chances, do you think, to see the caribou?
Well, they're moving across the coastal plain. A lot of them kind of north of these little mountains here. But a lot of them come right on through this pass, which is sort of a shorter cut.
The richness of this area is incredible.
All right.
All right.
Hey, everybody in.
Whew, that's fun.
Off like a herd of turtles.
This is what I love. When you first get on the river, the beginning of the day, and you just float in every fold, every bend in the river reveals something new. This is exciting. It's a great way of seeing the Arctic because we're so quiet as we float down. Come around a bend, there could be caribou on the bar. 4 adult sheep up on the ridge ahead, and this is just the beginning. Unlike a lot of what people do in the lower 48, which is get on rivers for the sport, this is more of a transportation through a wild country.
They're so wide open, so you can see wildlife for long distances. These mugals nest on these gravel bars, and they probably have chicks out there now, so they get pretty aggressive when you get near the chicks. Like that one gave us a warning shot.
Yeah.
Sometimes they really scream at you and dive bomb you.
Here it comes, incoming.
Here he comes. Oh!
There's a lot of fossils, a lot of shells, with fossilized shells within the rock along the shore. So this was all at one time an ocean bed, wasn't it?
Yep. You can sort of see all those layers.
It's incredible. I'm just so anxious to see our first caribou.
It's amazing how the large animals can just disappear in this, what seems to be wide open country.
Yeah, with this low valley here and that low valley there, it looks like a natural funnel for migrating caribou.
Wow, look at the striation in the ice and the blue color. It's fantastic.
Right from here, I can see blue, 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 and then the mountains right above, and it makes this ice look like 40 feet tall. So it's just the juxtaposition, which is great. Let's just pull over and get up on top of the ice and kind of scout where we should be going. Just jumped off the raft to explore this off ice, which is one of the really primary elements of the Arctic landscape. It builds up over the winter months as the river freezes, and each subsequent freeze adds another layer until it goes from the bottom all the way to the top. Some of this off ice will be as deep as 12 feet, which is pretty extraordinary stuff. As I hike along the rivers that flow out of the Brooks Range, I can find a lot of evidence of this ancient seabed. Many, many rocks hold fossils. Chitons and other crustaceans are really obvious in these rocks. And like everything else that I do, I love to photograph various scales, from the grand landscapes to the wildlife that live in the Brooks Range. And now I'm going to concentrate on doing macro shots of just these shells, these fossils locked in the rock.
Up in the Arctic, as with every location I'm traveling these days, climate and the warming of the earth is changing in profound ways. And in the time that I've traveled in the Arctic, looking back maybe 25 years, I've seen now entire microclimates of trees sprout and grow. We're looking at balsam poplars growing in ravines that were once barren. Wow, this is a beautiful forest. I would never have predicted this is on the north slope of the Brooks Range.
Yeah, I know of very few pockets like this up here at all.
These flowers, these little white flowers are beautiful. The lupin are very, very pretty.
One of the interesting things about these flowers this far north is that we're not experiencing a lot of bees buzzing around us and pollinating the flowers, and that's because the temperatures are too cold often for bees to actually function. And so the alternative in a climate like this is that mosquitoes pollinate flowers like this.
What I like about being in here is when you're on the Arctic slope, everything's so open and austere and beautiful. But for the mind and the spirit, it's kind of nice to have a change of pace. This is a wonderful place to be right now. There's an Arctic hare that's about 15 or 20 feet away under some dead branches, so it feels secure. The only thing I see moving right now is the whiskers. It's just, and occasionally the ears are moving from the mosquitoes, but otherwise, if it just stays still, you don't see them and they're quite happy. That's nice. My mission always is to show things. I mean, I not only want to get a shot of a lot of caribou and the big megafauna, but it's also the little things.
Great to be back on the river.
Yeah.
We're lucky to be traveling down the Congo because it's actually designated all the way to the ocean as a narrow strip of wilderness out into the coastal plain.
Gonna stop on the far side of that creek. Oh, oh my God. We saw these sheep from the raft, and we've beached the raft and walked a couple hundred yards across the sandbar to get closer. And it's just a really nice view of a couple young males and a couple females and a baby. Very casual, very relaxed. The Dall sheep is the only wild white sheep in the world. They really are uniquely adapted to this vertical landscape, and in fact, it's why they survive, because they are chased by wolves frequently, and so they don't venture too far from these cliffs above the river. We've just seen a herd of bull caribou. It's our first herd, and they're standing on some ice down here. Beautiful antlers. If we have the ability to get off this river near the off ice and come up over the edge and get a good shot, we're going to try that. We don't know whether we'll be successful because off ice and the rapids, it's pretty difficult to land a raft. We're going to move. I don't think they've seen us yet. Wow, look at, they're heading towards the river. If we get a crossing, that's gonna be fabulous. That would be a great thing to see. really nice, isn't it? These are beautiful animals, and look how they spread out so that they all have a good view. They've just turned around, they're running towards us. This is what's so incredible. Look at it, they're literally running at us.
Look how large their antlers are.
And when they stop, they all get the front row seats. That's what's so amazing about these animals. They're so adapted to long distance running. Now look at that. Oh, beautiful, beautiful. Ah, it's just like flowing water. That is as beautiful as it gets. Wow, what drama. That was so beautiful to see all the same forms with the water. That is sheer drama. Look at the power of getting out of that water.
Yeah, look at the muscles.
And then they came towards us again.
That's a good one.
It's almost like a platoon of soldiers. Yeah. I love these caribou. I mean, they give you a lot of opportunity, and they're so uniform. I mean, look at that. Yeah. Every antler is so huge.
I love their dark eyes, too. The ring
Yeah.
on their eyes.
Yeah, they all look like they've been in fights and lost. The way the sand has filled in the lower portions of these grooves in the ice. And it's just beautiful patterns repeated throughout this entire surface. On a day when the clouds have really shrouded these mountains and I can't find any caribou, I love to find and get lost into the abstract world. It's interesting to me how nature repeats itself on various levels. Right now, the patterns remind me exactly of the graceful curves within the antlers of the caribou. And when I photograph really fine details on the carpet of the tundra, there's also a lichen called caribou lichen that is almost identical to the shape of the antlers itself. So these Arctic rivers aren't known for their rapids, but this is a pretty good set.
Yeah, this is the biggest set of rapids on the river, and that's why we came up here to scout it out a little bit before we just blindly went into it. You guys ready to get wet?
It's amazing to me when you start flying over this land and you start to see the trails of the caribou etched into the soil. And in some cases, it's probably a foot or more deep. And these trails are really ageless. It's almost like an eloquent writing of the caribou onto the land itself.
Absolutely. And they are playing out an ancient rhythm that has gone on for thousands and thousands of years.
caribou migrate a long way.
Yeah, it's incredible. They actually, the porcupine caribou herd travels farther than any other terrestrial mammal.
Wow.
And they travel an average of 2,500 miles a year.
So they'll come all the way through these mountains back into the National Wildlife Refuge to drop their young.
That's what they do. They go to the coastal plain to birth their calves. They share this birthing ground with millions of migratory birds who also lay eggs and hatch their young right there on the coastal plain.
The Arctic plain, really on a clear day, is quite an extraordinary sight because you look to the south towards the Brooks Range and you got this skyline of glacier-clad peaks, and to the north it's just this white, thin line of ice that lies along the ocean edge. And in between is the Arctic plain, this giant nursery. Great. It's midnight up here in the Arctic, in the land of the midnight sun, and there's a huge herd of caribou moving across the slope, and they're just seemingly floating across. It's so sinuous, this line of caribou. It's a great subject for this camera. It seems at times that every square foot of this tundra has a subject, from the micro world of the lichens and the mosses to the small birds that make their nests within this carpet of the tundra. Right in front of me, I have a beautiful nest of Lapland longspurs and 5 little babies, so perfectly camouflaged within the complexity of the tundra. I'm moving in really quick and getting a quick shot. Great, there's 3 Arctic ground squirrel babies. They're just very blasé to my presence, which is the best time to start to get really nice behavior. One of the best shots is when they all stand up on their back legs and they look around. There's a nice catchlight in the eye. There's no wind. It's a very even overcast. It's perfect conditions. We're at a great spot right now. We've come low enough on the Congacut River that now this entire valley is broadened out. Just beyond these last foothills lies the great coastal plain. So these caribou are coming out of all the side channels, migrating right past our camp, up and over these ridges and out onto the plain. There's got to be at least 500 bull caribou going up this slope. It's just fantastic, just great.
Alaska's North Slope is a vast area. At this time, 94% of it has already been handed over for oil drilling and other types of industrial development.
94%?
94% of it.
Wow.
If we allow oil drilling and industrial development on the remaining piece, the small piece of the coastal plain in the Arctic National Wildlife Refuge, we will be losing a tremendous piece of America's heritage.
I think the Brooks Range and the Arctic Plain really exemplifies true wilderness.
This is the place I think of when I think of the word wilderness.
With every loss of wilderness area, every time we destroy an old-growth forest, we develop a wild coastline, we lose. Because it's important for all of us to know that there are still wild areas out there.
I'm Art Wolfe. Join me next time on Travels to the Edge.
exploring wild Africa for decades, and I'm here in Kenya's Masai Mara for the greatest wildlife spectacle on Earth. I'm Art Wolfe. Join me on Travels to the Edge. I've been photographing wild Africa for decades. Each time I return, I try to capture it in a new way. The East African countries of Tanzania and Kenya share the open savanna that is home to great nomadic herds. These grasslands stretch from the Serengeti in northern Tanzania into southwest Kenya, where they intersect the large Masai Mara Reserve. Whenever I return to an environment, I'm always working with a guide, and in this case, it's Andreas Befani. He really knows his stuff, and so I'm in great hands when I'm working with him and driving through the savannas of East Africa.
We are in the middle of the migration when over 1.2, 1.5 million wildebeest come from the Serengeti into the Masai Mara.
Why are they coming up here, do you think?
They're coming because of the grass. There's so many of them that they're constantly migrating.
I can't think of any place on Earth where you have such an immense scale of mammals on the move. When I first came to the Mara, like many photographers, you're overwhelmed with the spectacle of all the animals, and I tried to document every bird, every mammal. Now I'm really trying to translate the migration into much more abstract, impressionistic, emotional recordings. When you see this many wildebeest and zebras moving, they invariably kick up the dust. They envelop their own bodies into this layer of dust, which just gives it a sense of art to it, a mist and a softness that is very reminiscent of paintings. In addition to the Great Migration, working in the Mara provides many opportunities. Not only are there zebras and giraffes and elephants, but there's also the predators, the leopards, the lions, and here the cheetah. Ah, that's a nice pose right now. It's looking up. It more than likely is heading towards the impala that it took earlier today. It's very wary because often when they make a kill, other predators take over. So he's watching for lions, he's watching for hyenas, and potentially leopards. Cheetah is the rarest of the large cats in Africa. We're very fortunate to see this one out here in the open plains. The color of the cheetah is so perfectly adapted to the beige of the savanna grass, and then the spots break up its outline until it just blends in to this habitat. After the cheetah feeds upon this impala, vultures and storks will quickly come in, and by tomorrow midday, there will be nothing left of this impala except for the skeleton. It's an amazing ecosystem where nothing goes to waste.
The sounds of these hippos are pretty spectacular as they blow air out of their nostrils as they're coming up to the surface. It's just fun to watch them.
This is very typical of encountering lions in the bush. Often they're laying down, sleeping because they've made a kill during the middle of the night.
Right now I'm getting some beautiful catch light on this one baby.
In fact, I'm going to put on an extender which enables me to focus closer and zero right in on this one cub's head. The light is coming right down through the trees and catching the eye of the cats. And these lions have beautiful big eyes, and I just want to accentuate that.
An individual zebra is quite striking. When you see a herd of zebras, it's overwhelming with this vortex of motion and line and pattern. To see them come down to the water's edge to drink, and when they all align next to each other, yes, it's wildlife, but it's also pure art from my perspective.
This is a fantastic opportunity. All these wildebeest are coming down for a drink, and it just epitomizes the primeval nature of this migration. All these horns, the backs.
This is what I live for, these moments where you're just surrounded by wild animals in such numbers that you forget where you are. When these animals are running by at such close range, your senses are overwhelmed. You feel like you're witnessing something extraordinarily special. I totally get lost in the swirl and the vortex of motion and emotion that plays out every year here in the plains of East Africa. Hey, Alexi, I haven't seen you in about 5 years.
Long time. Nice to see you.
Hey, you're looking
I've
really
worked with
fit.
Alexi Peltier many times over the years, and it's great to see him again and to go flying over this wild area. I love Alexi. He's full of beans. He's a great pilot, and he really knows how to put me in the greatest situations when it comes to photography.
I know you like the green colors, you like the pattern, artistic pattern. I know you like the pinkish with the green behind.
And patterns and patterns and patterns.
And I know where to bring you.
Good, good.
Yeah, perfect.
I'm getting harnessed up to get up in the air and do some aerial work over an incredible display of flamingos. Flying up the Rift Valley is always a thrill. For me, it offers a different perspective from which to shoot. We're heading south towards a few small soda lakes. The algae and briny creatures that live in the alkaline waters support up to 2 million flamingos.
With a polarizer, I can darken the water, so it's such a stark contrast. It's just artwork everywhere I look. Get a nice shot of this hippo that's lying in the mud right at the water's edge. Whenever I can get two different species of animals in the same shot, I like to do that because it shows the relationship. It's quite alluring to be able to photograph big flocks of birds like this. It matches the spectacle we saw in the Mara with the tremendous numbers of wildebeest. So to move up here and to see up to 500,000 or 600,000 flamingos in a very small lake is a great opportunity. Flying over Lake Natron is like flying in another world. There's nothing I've experienced that remotely looks like Natron, with its brilliant red mineral deposits and these ridge crests of salt that define and give pattern to this landscape. I get lost in it. I mean, I'm just totally lost in it. Leaving the bizarre beauty of Lake Natron behind, we head north towards El Karama, in one of the more remote parts of Kenya. It's a place where ranchers and conservationists are working to protect and restore vast tracts of wilderness. So physically, whereabouts in Kenya are we? Since we were flying around, I really got confused.
That's true. By flying, we go quick on different place. Now, the thing is, we are just starting on the edge of the Lake Kipia Plateau. The place is called El Karama here. We have on the south there, we have Mount Kenya. In the west, we have the Aberdares.
Aberdares.
Due north, you have the Ethiopia.
Yep.
And from here to Ethiopia, this is what I call the real Kenya. This is a completely private, unknown, and wild place.
Boy, the sun is nice on these giraffes up ahead. Let's just see if we can't get a little closer.
Oh, yes.
This is beautiful. Look at them. Watch us.
Wow. Look, this is,
they're really curious about these horses, aren't they?
Like in El Karama, we can do things like this, you know?
I love this way of seeing animals in the African bush. Just to be able to move amongst these herds is extraordinary.
To approach animals like this is a real privilege. It's fantastic.
Obviously, these are reticulated giraffes. Yes. They're really symbols of the northern part of Kenya.
Completely, as you say. Reticulated giraffe is very nice pattern. You see, it's quite clear.
They have these long tongues that are able to really negotiate.
45 centimeters.
Wow.
45 centimeters.
And they can wrap around these really pointy acacia thorns, right?
Yeah, they like to eat the green leaves on top, you know?
Such nice light on these giraffes.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Come in. Come on. Oh, triggers. This horse really moves around a lot. The giraffes are over here. These are beautiful animals, though. You know, in this late light, they just glow against this thorn acacia.
Art, I really count on you to show to our future generation the beauty of the
Well,
world.
this is my mission. This makes me so happy that you brought me up here. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it.
That's really
These
cool.
giraffes are just incredible. I've approached this rhino from downwind. In other words, the wind is coming from the rhino towards me. And these rhinos really rely on the sense of smell, far less on the sense of sight. And I consequently have worked my way in fairly close to this black rhino, one of the most endangered species in all of Africa, once hunted and poached nearly to extinction. But these numbers are coming back now. And it's largely because they're on these protective ranches here in northern Kenya. And they may, in fact, be the salvation of this species. It is so different working with truly wild herds of elephant. They're really hard to predict. And before I get out of the vehicle and try to get a little closer, we're analyzing their behavior. So often wildlife photography is sitting back, giving it some time, reading the animals before we get in position to photograph them.
Is just there. He knows we are here.
Yeah. Even though we have a rifle here, we would never aim it at the animal. We would aim it in the air and make a noise.
Never. In fact, if he charged, we did wrong. Don't move too fast. Yeah.
Okay, that's nice.
So we're out of his way. Yeah.
Nice shot of the elephant walking through the vegetation right now. I'm taking very long exposures, creating a sense of movement. Nice full vertical shots, looking at me. Nice, very nice portrait right now.
Keep an eye, keep an eye. Okay, keep an eye, you know we're here. Don't make bursts, don't move fast, don't move fast.
Right.
Okay, that's all right.
Nice. This was a very nice encounter with a truly wild elephant. And as you can see, they're not aggressive animals. This one was very curious, walked by, took a look at me. I didn't move. It was very, very nice. I like when they grab the dust and they throw it on their back. Oh, this is getting great.
That is a really great shot. And you know, they have 40,000 muscles in the trunk.
40,000 muscles.
They need 5 years to be able to use the trunk.
Elephants are the most engaging. They're always showing different expressions. And look at this one coming straight towards them.
Wait. Wait.
I think we walk back.
No, you come walk back slowly. Come slowly. We show him that we're not aggressive. Hey, Sean, reverse. Sean, you have to reverse, Sean. Okay, good. Perfect. Now we're okay. Good.
Very nice shots. I like that sequence. Very good. Thank you. This is the way wildlife photography should be. The animals are relaxed. We placed ourselves in a situation that they came towards us. We got our shots. Everybody leaves happy. Right?
Good. And you behaved good. That's
and I behaved good, which is abnormal.
To fly on this part of the world is the gift of life. I'm passionate about the beauty of the world, and in Kenya, all the ingredients are here to explain how the conservation with people and the beauty can really work. Here is a real gift.
Kenya's rich diversity offers a glimpse of Africa as a whole, a land where the delicate balance between wildlife and people plays out on a grand scale.
I'm Art Wolfe. Join me on the next Travels to the Edge.
Behind me rise the stunning Patagonian peaks of Fitzroy and Cerro Torre, famous amongst climbers and photographers for their steep walls and inclement weather.
Join me as I traverse rivers, climb glaciers, and cross an ice cap to get a different view of these often photographed peaks. I'm Art Wolfe. This is Travels to the Edge.
A couple of years ago, I was flying from Punta Arenas up to Santiago, and I looked out the plane window and I saw these great spires. Big glacier on the west side, and I thought that would be a fantastic place to go and shoot.
Patagonia encompasses the great tail of South America. Straddling both Chile and Argentina, it stretches across the Patagonian ice caps over the granite massifs of Fitzroy and Torres del Paine to Tierra del Fuego, the southern extreme of the Americas.
This region is defined by the incessant winds, vast lakes, incredible wildlife, and tall granite spires.
Mount Fitzroy and Cerro Torre are world-class mountains that have been photographed largely from the same viewpoint. The reason I've come to Patagonia is really to get three distinct views of these very famous mountains. I love the idea of coming around these great iconic mountains and photographing them with a different view. Hiking through the trees, these twisted trees, is a great counter to what lies beyond. In this forest, you've got lichens and mosses and tiny flowers.
This is a beautiful forest.
I like the way the light comes down through these trees.
Joining me on this journey is lifelong friend Rick Holt and local guide Walter Rosini.
So many people see it from this side, so this is our challenge, isn't
Yeah.
it? To gain these views from the north, possibly from the west if we're really lucky. If the weather permits, it's a wonderful trek.
Yeah, it's amazing.
It's an expedition, it's not just a trek.
As we hike up this valley, we're starting to lose the vegetation, and suddenly you're in a really open landscape of short heather and meadows. You see the moraine, and the residue of ancient glaciers is really this big U-shaped valley of rock and open skies. You're so embedded in this valley, you still don't have the views of the mountains you've come to see.
This is a great place, guys, to see what a moraine looks like. This is a frontal moraine where we are right now. It's a deposit of material done by the glacier. I'll show you with an example here with my boot. Imagine that my boot is the ice coming downhill. It advances, and because of an increasing of global temperature, the ice retreats, but it leaves a deposit of material. Those are the moraines. The frontal moraines, we've got in this case, lateral moraines at the sides.
Yeah, this is the beginning of a lot of loose rock.
This journey is really challenging because you're spending most of the time just bouldering, walking over scree slopes of really loose rock.
Looks like we got a crossing. Looks pretty cool to me.
It's like cross first with my backpack, so I'll change boots, then I'll turn back and help you to crossing, okay?
Yeah. I hate walking around with wet boots, so I've absconded a pair of porter boots, and unfortunately they look like a 7 and I'm a 9.5, but you know what? We're gonna try to make it work. I feel like Cinderella, as I say.
One of the things that I notice the most about Patagonia is the air is so clear. The skies are dramatic. There's really a deep, deep, clear blue, punctuated with these beautiful swirling clouds.
Hey, Art, do you think the weather's gonna hold?
Well, this being Patagonia, I don't know. Wow, look at the north face. That's amazing. Right after we establish camp tonight, I want to come back and shoot that mountain before it disappears. But weather, can't predict it here.
I just hope it holds up.
Yeah.
When you're on the trek, you're always watching the weather because when it's clear, you're always nervous because it's going to change. And when it's cloudy, you're always hoping that it's going to clear. It never stays the same.
You know, Rick, this is one of the views that I really wanted to get on this trip. This is the very impressive north face of Mount Fitzroy, and the weather is perfect for this. This is the one shot I wanted to get on the north side, and look how beautiful Fitzroy is glowing out there. Oh, I hate this, I hate this, I hate this. You really have to be committed to go all the way around these mountains because you're really at the mercy of the elements. Probably 7 out of 10 treks fail. Well, guys, the Marconi Glacier. It's time to harness up, get on our crampons, and hit the ice. It looks like it's going to be windy up there. There's a lot of shots to get on top of the glacier, but even more seductive is to get in and under the glacier. There's 200 feet of ice pressing down on this rock. I'm looking for abstracts of color and texture. I love to challenge perceptions, and this is a great environment for doing that. Wow, it's amazing. If you look up into this ice, you can see all the pockets of air trapped in there. There's a beautiful contrast between the pink of the outside light and the blue of this interior space. Ah, this is nice. As I look through this ice, I can see a lot of the outside light that's reflecting down into these recesses, and it's really fantastic. Oh, I love this. Everywhere I move the camera becomes a new abstract. As I document this expedition, I'm going to try to balance the grand landscapes with intimate landscapes and unusual things I've not photographed before, and this is one of them. I've photographed countless streams
flowing out of mountains, but I've never photographed a stream flowing over the top of a glacier. And what attracted me to this shot is the beautiful blue that's the backdrop to the rapids. To convey that in an artistic way, I've taken a long exposure, so it's going to have motion blur, blue coming through, and I think it will be a very, very nice addition to the collection of photos I amass on this trip. Wow, the weather is so nice right now. Hoping for the second shot I want. This seems pretty safe. These crevasses are really wide open, so you can see them coming, and that's the big danger of hiking on a glacier, is not seeing the crevasses. We're absolutely going to make it Marconi Pass today. What I'm hoping is that those clouds dancing over the top of Fitzroy remain in place towards the late afternoon light. I think that could be spectacular. We've seen 3 or 4 good avalanches come off this wall. They say that a snowflake that falls from the sky and hits these glaciers takes 300 years before it's released from the glacier. I find that utterly amazing. A great day on the glacier. It was one of our hardest days, and yet it wasn't that hard at all. It's not even cold, but the clouds are moving in, and that gives me a little bit of pause for concern.
Art said he's not too tired. I am.
This is it.
The end of the day.
The end of the day, end of the glacier for today.
Voila. We are on Marconi Pass, and this place is famous for the winds, and although it's really nice right now, the lenticular cloud building up over the mountains, I think, is an indicator that winds are on the way. This is my second favorite view that I was hoping to get, and it's the northeast view of Mount Fitzroy and Serratori. As you can see by the light on the mountains behind me, it's pretty flat. There's a very thin veil of clouds obscuring the sun, but as I look to the west, there's a big gap in these clouds, and I suspect in an hour or so, things could really drastically change.
Regardless of the atmospheric conditions, I'm always shooting because you never know whether a tiny break in the clouds will suddenly reveal a mountain or close in, and that's the last shot of the entire trip. So I'm always shooting, expecting those shots to be the last, but invariably, it gets better and better and better. Working in southern Patagonia, you're basically in what they call the roaring 40s, the lower latitudes where winds come racing across the southern Pacific some 2,000 miles unimpeded by any land formations, and they literally slam into these jagged peaks that rise thousands of feet out of this very narrow isthmus of land. It was bound to happen that the weather would catch up with us, and now it has.
The weather is pretty wicked. We've got a fairly long trek to our destination. Probably about a 5-hour hike.
Today is a very long slog on a very big glacier.
Today is like the moon day. Everything changes. We're walking on the ice cap, so it's a huge terrain.
Art, look at the horizon right now. You can't even see the difference between
the snow and the sky.
This is the closest environment that I can remember to Antarctica. It's just so flat and limitless. It's amazing to me to walk out here in this great expanse. It's almost impossible to judge distances. I know that we're going to be heading another 3 hours down to camp, but I look ahead and I can't even fathom how far that is in terms of the mountains. It's kind of a great feeling to be out here in such a wide open space, and the only people you see are the people you know. Our main objectives, the views of Fitzroy and Serratori, are cloaked in heavy mist. In this part of the world, if the weather clears, it's an amazing sight to see these mountains come out of all the mist. And if it doesn't happen, okay, this is not the end of the world.
Unlike Art, I don't get to do this too often. We'd be pretty disappointed if we don't get a good view.
Based on what I see and my experience in the mountains, I don't think we're going to see the mountains for at least a day. And we're appropriating enough time to give it at least 3 days. And after 3 days, if it doesn't clear, we're moving on.
It's amazing how the weather at Patagonia always is taunting and teasing you. They give you little glimpses of these great mountains through these clouds. And sometimes those views open up to a grand vista. More times than not, they close back in.
We finally have arrived at a spot that we think is perfect for Serratori and Fitzroy. Based on what I see on the horizon, I think we're going to need all the 3 days that we've allotted here. This is a very exposed place, so we're going to create a wall out of blocks of ice.
You arrive at a place where you think the mountains will be stunning if the weather clears. You build your wall of ice, you erect your tents, and you hope the following day the weather will, in fact, clear.
I'm absolutely ecstatic. This is a view that I've been waiting years to see and years to photograph. It's unbelievable how miserable the weather was yesterday and how clear and perfect it is today. Just to see Fitzroy and Serratori rising right out of this vast glacier, it is perfect. What I'm concentrating on is just doing the rock in the ice on top of Serratori. And with a polarizer, I'm darkening the blue sky, so there's a beautiful contrast. Clouds really lend an element that makes these mountains that much more intriguing to my eye.
The west view of Mount Fitzroy and Serratori is everything that I had hoped it would be. These mountains just rise out of this ice cap, unabated in these vertical walls of granite. I can't think of any landscapes on Earth that match the dramatic vertical rise of these great mountains.
It takes a lot of work to get here. It absolutely takes a lot of work. And then you have to have luck, perseverance, and it pays off eventually. This is fantastic with the light, the way it's playing off these rock faces, the glacier on the bottom, the blue sky behind it. It gives a nice, really dramatic effect with the light. You know what I love about this composition is just the cleanness of the granite, the blue sky, so perfect. I like the way the ice just rims each one of those pinnacles. The
love the way these things just jut up in the sky. They're so uncompromising. So few climbers have ever stood on the top of that mountain. When you think of Everest, who's been climbed hundreds and hundreds of times, you know, this mountain has had a handful of people on the summit of it. It's extraordinary. And that's just indicative of how wild Patagonia is, how inaccessible it can be, and how harsh the weather can be at times. There's an allure, there's a draw, there's a magic about mountains. It's really comforting for people to realize that there's places on this planet that are untamed and raw and wild. My photographs are intended to remind people that places like Mount Fitzroy and Serratoi exist. I'm Art Wolfe. Join me next time on Travels to the Edge. The American Southwest is like no other place on Earth. Epic in its history, both natural and human, it has been sculpted in intriguing ways over the millennia. It's a landscape that invites the explorer to see how the Earth creates art with the simplest of elements. I'm Art Wolfe. Join me on Travels to the Edge. It would take a lifetime to explore the American Southwest, but it would be a lifetime well spent. The Southwest covers a large geographic area spanning several states. We'll be focusing on two of them, Arizona and Utah. While this unique region was shaped by the forces of nature, it has also been touched by the hand of man. Because of the distances, we'll be road tripping a bit, starting in Arizona and then heading into Utah. Canyon de Chelly is one of the most significant formations of the Southwest. The Navajo Nation revere this place for its history. I'm fortunate that my guide here in Canyon de Chelly is James Yazzie, a Navajo man that grew up in this canyon. Canyon de Chelly is spectacular, not only for the beautiful cliffs all the way up through the deepest recesses, but also for the groves of golden cottonwood that grow along the river. It's so open, you can see everywhere, and the pace of the horses really allows you to bring in the beauty, to really appreciate the land. In addition to the natural beauty of this canyon, there's these very significant panels of rock art. Okay, nice. When you first come across a panel, what are you feeling? Are you feeling the same kind of excitement that I feel when I come across this?
Oh yeah, these are really, that I mentioned, they're a really spiritual place to me. So it gives me the chill sometimes.
Why do you think that the early people made these?
These are probably made for, mainly from my point, they're probably a representation of ceremonies.
So what would you speculate from the very first people that would put some figurines on this wall to the last? How long of a time are we spanning here?
Probably a little over 4,000 to 5,000 years people has been occupying the canyon.
They had such distinct styles, from the Anasazi to the Navajo to the Puebloan peoples. Each had a very unique way of recording the human form.
There's very, very little destruction.
Yeah, there's hardly anybody visits these sites, and even us native here, we're kind of like stay away. Spiritually, these are really unique sets. That's why we don't touch these. I mean, it's really hard to describe in words.
The Anasazi, both painted and then carved into the rock.
Yeah, pictograph or paintings, and then petroglyph are carved, etched into the canyon wall. And the walls here like sandstone. It's very soft canyon sandstone.
So that would be typically not in an alcove, possibly right out there on a wall.
Usually petroglyphs are on the open main canyon walls.
This is quite a panel. This is a lot of petroglyphs. Tell me a little bit about this wall. It's amazing.
This side here, we call it the newspaper wall.
I can really understand why they call it newspaper rock. I mean, it just unfolds.
Human figures, animal figures, bird figure, astronomy figure, plant figure, a lot of different designs.
And these are the petroglyphs.
Petroglyphs, they're all carved into the main canyon wall, right above the little ledge here.
And this is largely Anasazi?
Anasazi, and also a lot of Navajo rock art.
And it's a record of the people that lived here. This is great, great light. It's so oblique to the rock that they stand out so beautifully. There's almost a three-dimensional quality to the way the light is falling across these petroglyphs. You know, it almost gives it volume. This is one of Kenyon Deshe's classic locations. It's a Anasazi ruin known as House Beneath the Rock. It's amazing how they've built these very, very large structures high on a wall, protected from potential enemies, really tucked away under this great overhang. It's such a classic, really beautiful location. The context of the environment, the beautiful texture of the wall, and also the shadows make it a really intriguing image for me. This is the perfect conditions to photograph this subject. I'm in the shadows of these great walls, and everything now is bathed in even, very soft light. It's not about depth, it's not about stunning rock art, it's all about color, and it's right here. I'm heading northwest to where Arizona borders Utah to see a rarely visited location.
Steve Dotson, a local guide, is taking me to his favorite spot in Vermilion Cliffs National Monument.
We're going to go up on the Vermilion Cliffs, which is called the Paria Plateau. Paria Plateau is a three-sided plateau with 1,000-foot cliffs around each side. It was declared in '98 as the Vermilion Cliffs National Monument.
I've always been around it. I've never gone up on the plateau.
Well, you're in for a treat, that's for sure.
I've never seen anything quite like this. How did you ever find this?
Well, I do guiding up here, you know.
Yeah?
And actually, not too many locals know about this place. It's a pretty unique spot.
I love the way the texture and the red and the yellow intrusions kind of mix into this really abstract patterns.
What we have here is the Entrada sandstone.
Entrada sandstone, huh? I'm really liking this shot. What I tried to do in a lot of landscapes I work is use a wide-angle lens, and with a wide-angle lens, it slightly distorts the reality, but it makes drama. And what's happening here is these really strong vertical lines sweep down the slope and off into the distant landscape, and it creates a really strong sense of depth, and that's exactly what I'm trying to do in this particular shot. I've waited to the last waning moments of light to reveal this really unique sandstone structure. As the light goes down, all the highlights are really brought out. This is the valley of these white mushrooms, or hoodoos as they call them. It is so spectacular. This tallest one must be at least 60 feet tall. I can't believe it.
And these are really just narrow columns of rock that form as a result of a more resistant caprock that protects all the softer material underneath. And through the millennium of weathering and rain, it just erodes everything below this tougher rock on the top and creates these columns.
This is spectacular, and we caught it just in the great light because the whole background is in deep shadow, and this hoodoo rises and catches the light side lit. It's extremely dramatic. It seems when the light is great, it moves so fast, it makes photographers like myself pretty darn neurotic. I position myself so that in just a few seconds, my face and the camera will fall into shadow, but as the sun goes over the caprock of this giant hoodoo, I'm going to click a shot just at that moment so that it actually looks like a starburst, and it's just about to happen. Now it's happening. Voila.
Just across the border in Utah is the Grand Staircase Escalante National Monument, an area that's great to hike and explore.
One of the most interesting features of the American Southwest are the narrow chasms in this Navajo sandstone known as slot canyons. And one of the most engaging, twisted, and narrow of these slot canyons is one known as Spooky Gulch.
The deeper you get into this canyon, the higher the walls become. And basically, as floods have occurred over the millennia, they keep cutting deeper into this really soft Navajo sandstone. It's really what makes this place special. I found a great location to work in this very narrow cut gorge. Basically, I found a fairly wide chamber that allows the light to filter all the way down into the deepest recesses of this chasm. The thing that I like most about it is the way the light reflects on these walls. It gives every little angle a texture. It gives it a slightly different reflective quality, and that gives it a complexity. I think this is where photography ends and maybe exploration starts. Oh boy. Ah, I think I am getting to the end of my rope. At the end of my canyon. I think it's time to explore another canyon. One that's a little wider. Definitely got to lose weight on the next canyon. Less than 24 hours ago, this riverbed was flooding. And as the water receded, it revealed a very slick texture. What I'm seeing in this just very small area are some really nice curves. The way the mud is reflecting the sky gives it a very sensuous texture. And I could spend the entire afternoon working in this shadowed little ravine and be as happy as a clam. Lake Powell is such an aberration in the desert. This huge body of intricate waterways, open skies, rounded buttes just rising out of the water. I'm exploring the backwaters of Lake Powell with guide Kyle Walker. I love this area. Around every one of these bends, there's a little treasure to discover.
Yep, each turn brings a whole new set to discover. And, you know, the nice thing is there's 96 of these canyons. 96 canyons, so there's a lot to see, a lifetime to see.
It's quite a sensation to kayak through these really narrow canyons flooded by the waters of Lake Powell. As you go around the bend, new vistas open up, and the walls just reach right down into the water. It would be impossible to reach some of these canyons without the waters of Lake Powell.
There's no place like it in the world. There's no question. You can't get out of your car and look at what we're looking at. You have to come out and spend some time and want to be where you are.
It's the magic hour, and all the oranges and blues of this unique place are at their most beautiful. Utah's Zion National Park has soaring rock formations and unique gorges cut by the rivers and streams running through it. I'm hiking to see one of the most unusual of these with Ranger Tom Harridan.
This is the subway, huh?
This is the subway, often talked about but seldom seen.
What made it so symmetrical?
Well, it's a softer layer of rock, and it just erodes away, leaving this arched shape.
As you get farther and deeper into the subway formation, these deep emerald green pools start to dot the landscape, and the walls literally arch over the top of you. One of my favorite subjects to photograph are the really simple forms of trees. And I can't think of any trees that exemplify this more than the aspen. When most people think of the Southwest, of course they think of the open buttes and the desert landscapes, but there's a lot more in the Southwest. There's these mountains that rise out of the desert. They become truly alpine environments with vast groves of beautiful aspen trees.
Photographers have been drawn to aspen trees over the years, from Ansel Adams to Edward Weston to many of my modern colleagues. And I think it's the textures, the beauty of these trees. They're great, great subjects. I have found a really nice grove of trees here. There's such a uniformity of the trunks all lined up. There's no distracting elements. The light is perfect. There's a huge light box with these heavy clouds. The fog has rolled in. It makes everything so much more like a painting. Not only are the trunks of these aspens so beautifully white, but the fog gives it a little bit of distance, a little depth.
I've been photographing the Southwest for over 30 years, and I'll probably keep coming back until I can't press the shutter any longer. The region's combination of grand landscapes, bizarre rock formations, and intricate details will always keep me exploring.
I'm Art Wolfe. Join me next time on Travels to the Edge. It takes 3 days by rough road to go from Addis Ababa down here to the Omo River Valley. But in many ways, it's like going back 1,000 years in time. Deep in the Omo Valley, I'm Art Wolfe. Join me on Travels to the Edge.
The Omo River flows 1,000 miles through this vast, open, empty quarter of Ethiopia and ultimately empties into Lake Turkana, which is this enormous lake in northern Kenya. And along the banks and on the mountains above the river are small pockets of distinctly different peoples. We're leaving the highlands of Addis Ababa and heading south to the lower Omo Valley. I'm looking for 3 particular tribes, the Hamar, the Karo, and the Surma, in an area so remote it wasn't even on the map 100 years ago. The roads here are rough at the best of times, but during the wet season, heavy rains create a condition known as black cotton, which is this really fine mud, which is all but impossible to cross once it gets wet. Southern Ethiopia is really timeless. It is a land that hasn't really moved forward. It's been isolated by very rugged country. It's the backwater of Ethiopia, many would argue, but for that very reason, the cultures have remained intact. They're practicing rituals that have taken place for thousands of years, and I want to be here to record them before they change. What's so great about traveling through Hamar country is you could be driving through endless miles of really arid scrublands, and suddenly on the horizon are a group of Hamar walking your way. And when you see them at first glance, it's just amazing because they got beautiful skins, incredible ornamentation of necklaces. Their hairstyle is completely coiffed with mud and oil, which is a signature item that really sets the Hamar apart. We've heard there's going to be a bull jumping ceremony in this village. It's an ancient rite of passage for a young man entering adulthood.
This is a guy who is going to jump tomorrow, you know. He's ready. He's got a bull jumping tomorrow. Can you hear this thing over here? Yeah. She's the sister of the jumper tomorrow. She's just declaring that my brother is brave, he can jump. It's a sort of declaring the ceremony tomorrow.
After taking a picture of somebody, I love to show them what I want. Oh, you want a picture of you? Okay. People are people, and when you can show them photos of themselves, they really respond, and it's true throughout the world. So the camera is a great tool for breaking down the awkwardness of entering a village. It becomes a passport into their village. They love looking at themselves, and it's really a lovely way of connecting with people. Two Hamar men are adorning themselves for this cow jumping ceremony. I put on an extension tube between my lens and my camera, which enables me to focus closer. By having the ability to move in and focus really close, it opens up a variety of new subjects. First, I shoot from a distance and I move in, and every subsequent shot, I get in tighter and tighter until I'm really highlighting the eloquent details within these Hamar men. This is really emphasizing the beautiful detail that the Hamar are able to achieve with their earrings and their necklaces and the simplest of form. And what I'll do now is connect this with other cultures around the world and highlight how they adorn themselves. It's really a celebration of the creative processes that go on in these really remote regions. Isn't she just beautiful? In the age of digital technology, I'm not only able to bring my photographs home to show my friends, now I'm able to show the people I'm shooting what I'm shooting. Okay, this is
Today's the big day, the jumping of the bulls. It's noisy, it's wild, and it's chaotic.
There's a real regalness to the Hummer culture, and yet I would kid myself if I didn't recognize the fact that cultures are changing. I was here 10 years ago, and there were no t-shirts, there were no shorts, and now I'm shooting around that.
With the arrival of the bulls, anticipation for the ceremony intensifies. The jumper must try to compose himself amid all the chaos. The bulls are brought together, lined up, and finally it's time for a young man to symbolically pass into manhood, just as his ancestors have done for thousands of years. Next, we're heading west to the Omo River in search of the Karo people. Ethiopia is known as the cradle of humanity, and it's here, deep in the Omo River Valley, where archaeologists have found signs of human civilization that date back more than 2 million years. We've arrived at this Karo village at the end of the harvest season. It's been a fruitful year, and the villagers are in the mood to celebrate.
This is beautiful. This is a ochre, and it puts on the skin, and when it dries, it becomes really red, right? And this is for the white one. This is like being in Nordstrom's. Okay, perfect. Nice. I'm not really trying to document a culture like a traditional documentarian. What I'm trying to do is find a sense of art. The magic's in the detail. I really try to pull out the essence of a culture through the abstract. And right now in front of me, there's this beautiful woman who's got a series of spots around her nose and her cheek. And I'm trying to zoom in as close as I can and just make a really simple abstract shot with the eye and the spots. Nothing more than that, nothing more complex than that. When the Karo adorn themselves, it's very individualistic. No two patterns are the same. And that's what art is about, basically, is that self-expression through your own sense of aesthetic. These cultures don't really have museums or art galleries or even living rooms where they can hang art. They, in fact, become their own living, breathing works of art. Can we have this space? Circle. Okay. This is known as designing your shot. Circle. And you sit down. I see a beautiful pattern amongst their feet. Okay. Now I've got a beautiful circle. This is really hard work, but I think it's worth it. I love making artwork out of my subjects. Okay, look at it. These kids are great. It's wonderful to show them a reward. Oh, yeah. Oh, it went dark. When I'm photographing these coral, I'm trying to get them to look straight into my camera sometimes. I'm also shooting candid shots, but many times I want them to look straight into my camera and therefore straight into the viewer of my photo's eyes. So there's the connection that I feel at the moment I take the picture. It's a very, very effective way for people to feel connected to the subjects. After a day of adornment, the coral are ready to celebrate a good harvest. The Omo River corridor is unlike any other place on Earth, with so many different cultures inhabiting a land that has changed little in thousands of years. The next leg of our journey takes us across the Omo and up into mountains virtually untouched by the modern world. This is where we hope to find the Surma, the most remote of the tribes we've come to see. This is a journey of 1,000 obstacles. We've come out of the flat savanna of the Omo River Valley, and now we're crossing this mountain range that rises to 11,000 feet before we get to the Surma Mountains. And along the way, we've had multitude of obstacles. And right now, a huge rainforest tree has fallen across the road, which means the track goes around the tree, which means, of course, we get stuck in the mud one more time. Stuck again. This is going to be a long day. And now we're at least in Surma country because they're everywhere. Hey, how are you? Because of their extreme isolation, the Surma are unaware there's a country called Ethiopia and that they live within its borders. They call their home Surmaland.
Now we are in a village of Surma people, especially in the heat of the sun. They would like to play under the tree. Chaleno. Have you seen this game? No. Okay, this is a traditional game mostly played by the Surma people. They just invite us, to play.
You want to abandon me as a player? Well, I don't know. You got a loser on your side, I have to tell you. I'd rather photograph this game than play it, quite honestly. I could see having this game board on a wall at my house. It just looks like such a beautiful burnished sculpture. You see, that's what I photographed. What he just said to his friends, my God, this guy's an excellent photographer. That's you. The camera camera is a great connection. These ladies are wearing what they call lip discs or labyrinths. Historically, the lip disc was placed in the young women so that when slave traders came down through the Horn of Africa and stole women out of these remote villages, they would look grotesque and therefore be passed over. But today, rather than being something that was grotesque to discourage the slave trade, it's a sign of beauty. And the larger the lip discs, the more beautiful the lady. Very nice. This young girl right here has really a beautiful pattern of almost snowflake designs on her face. These may be, in fact, the first photographs this young lady has ever seen of herself. I'm down here on the banks of the river with about 30 Surma warriors that are later on going to perform the donga, which is a stick fight. They are actually competing for the attention of the women. And the most elaborately adorned warrior and the strongest stick fighter will catch the attention of the women. This is beautiful. I'm going to go in for some details of the face. This is nice. I've put on the wide angle and I'm using a very small aperture opening so I can get in, have some foreground. It's a great shot of this warrior decorating the other, and it's interesting how much attention they pay to helping the other one. And I just love getting in and photographing this detail. So, hold the camera steady, take the pictures. This is exciting. This is the warm-up for the donga. These guys are getting themselves all riled up. They're about to perform the donga, which is not a dance, it's a battle. These are two different villages that are coming and competing for the honor of the village. And it can become quite graphic. I'm very excited about being here, but I'm also a little nervous. They are in a state of excited frenzy. What I'm trying to do is capture this donga in the most eloquent way possible and to try to stay alive doing it. So this is a good view right from here. I'm putting the sun in my back. This tradition has been going on for thousands of years, and unfortunately it could end with the inevitable westernization of the world. My whole mission is to try to make sense of what's happening. I never know how this whole donga, oh my God. This is a very powerful. They will stop it if anybody gets seriously injured, but I hope they can tell. There's so much happening. The chanting is primordial, and it just lends a sense to this place. There's dust in the air, there's blood in the air. Just gives it a memory that I'll never forget. I'll never forget this moment. The people of the Omo have kept their unique cultures alive for centuries. It's a privilege to photograph these rich traditions while they still exist. I'm Art Wolfe. Join me next time on Travels to the Edge.